for undergraduate students. I'm delighted that all of you could join us. We have a huge group today. We already have over 80 people logged in and counting. So we look forward to not only an informative series of presentations by our various panelists, but also to all of your questions. So I just want to start with a brief overview of how the webinar is going to go. It's going to start with a brief walkthrough on how to use the webinar technology. Then we're going to move to the presentations of the 3 different scholarship programs that are available for North American students. And I just want to point out here at the start, we are DAD North America. We have offices in New York, San Francisco, and Toronto. And I'm Leslie Harrelson, and I'm speaking from the San Francisco office. And the scholarships that we're talking about today are for North American students. The RISE and RISE Pro scholarships also are for students in Great Britain. But for students from other countries, you can shoot me an email. You'll see my email address here shortly, and I can send you a link to how to find the DAD office in your country. So we are today only speaking about scholarships that students in the US and Canada can apply to, as well as RISE and RISE Pro for students in Great Britain. So the first scholarship that will be addressed is the undergraduate grant, and then the internXchange internship program in Berlin. And then after that, we'll head over to my colleague in Bonn, who will talk about the RISE and RISE Pro scholarships. And then we're lucky today to have a RISE alumna who is going to talk about her summer doing internship in Germany, a research internship, and she'll show us some pictures too of her time there. And then we'll end with a question and answer session. And I apologize in advance if we're not able to get to all of the questions. I'm going to do my best to pick out the ones that are most relevant to everybody. And if your question doesn't get answered, just shoot me an email after the fact, and I'll be more than happy to answer your specific question. So all of you should have some sort of control panel on the right side of your screen that looks like this. And I'm just going to briefly go over so you understand how to use it. First of all of the lines are muted here. All of your lines are muted. That's because now we have over 100 people listening in, and if everyone was unmuted, there would be some crazy feedback going on. So you are all muted. The attendee list is hidden just because it's so long it would clog up the control panel. The grab tab right here allows you to maximize and minimize the size of your control panel. So if you don't see a very large panel right now, look for this little panel right here, and you can press this arrow right under the B, and that will allow you to maximize your screen. The audio pane here lets you control how you're listening in. Some of you are listening via telephone and others via your computer. If at any time you lose audio, sometimes it works if you just toggle between these 2 modes. So if you're listening on your computer and you lose your audio for some reason, you can click over to use telephone, click back, and sometimes that'll reset the audio. And if at any time you have any technical issues, feel free to send me a question, and I'll try to troubleshoot. So the question pane down here allows you to submit those questions. So it's really easy. You just type your question in here and click send, and that'll go right to me. And I will be sorting all the questions so that we're ready during the question and answer period. So if you have any questions, we'll put these email addresses up again at the end, but you can email questions to RISE, to our office in Germany, and please note the endings here. Anything that's dad.de goes to our office in Bonn, and dad.org are North American offices. So you can email me at dadsf@dad.org. You can also reply to any of the webinar reminder emails you've gotten, and that comes directly to me. So I look forward to any questions that you have now or in the future. And again, thank you to all of you for joining us. We're delighted that you're here, and we look forward to the next interesting hour here. So at this point, I'm going to turn over to my colleague Jane Fu in our New York office. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Leslie. Hi, everybody. And I just wanted to take the burden off of Leslie a little bit, that you can email any one of us if you have questions. If you're awake a little bit earlier than West Coast time, feel free to email our office. You'll see my email address at the end of the presentation. What you're experiencing today is a very special webinar. We're cross-country as well as international today. And I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the undergraduate scholarship program. The undergraduate scholarship, we could say, is one of our flagship type scholarship programs
Oh, Jane, sorry, I can't see.
There,
We can't see your
sorry about
screen
that.
yet. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry
Awesome.
about that.
No, thanks.
Okay. I'm going to talk to you today about two of our programs, and then I'm going to hand it over to Martina to talk about RISE. Our undergraduate scholarship program, we have the three programs that we're talking about today: Undergraduate, internXchange, which is a journalism internship program, and RISE Professional, so the two RISE programs. The undergraduate scholarship is sort of our flagship scholarship for RISE for young undergraduate students, and our internship exchange is our new program, and probably a lot of you already know about RISE. But first of all, if this is a complete introduction for you, what is DAAD? We are in a German national agency, so you're receiving German public funding for your scholarship. We primarily provide scholarships and funding. We also do counseling, advising on study abroad, advising on the academic scene, so to say, in Germany. Our programs span for all fields: undergraduate, graduate students, PhDs, as well as those of you planning to have careers in academia. We have faculty grants as well as institutional programs. Regional Office for New York stands for all of North America. So from here is where we administer the bulk of the scholarships for you guys. And then Toronto and San Francisco take care of a lot of regional concerns. If there's something specific to your area, feel free to email them. They're just as knowledgeable as we are. We just happen to get the bulk of the paperwork in our office. We're a very large organization in terms of budget. We're one of the largest funding agencies for international exchange in the academic arena in the world. And recently, there were just under 2,000 coming from North America going to Germany, and well over 4,000 German students come to North America annually on a DAAD scholarship. For the few students that are out there that are in different regions and just want to learn a little bit more about DAAD and scholarships in general, there are 64 regional offices and information centers. So that means that there are DAAD programs for every single country in the world. We don't limit in terms of national, regional borders. You can get an idea here of some of where our offices are located. Toronto, New York is one of the largest ones, and then for the people on the east, New Delhi, Beijing, Moscow, those are some of our three bigger offices, as well as London. London has been there for a long time, and they do a lot of programs very similar to the way that we do. Be aware that programs by region are a little bit different. So if you're listening in today from a different country, it may not be exactly what's going to be offered in your region. The undergraduate scholarship, as I mentioned earlier, is our primary scholarship for undergraduate students. This is the scholarship that we have that a lot of students who are doing junior year abroad or doing a senior honors thesis apply for. Also, you can apply for the scholarship to cover an internship. For example, if you have a semester-long internship that's a requirement for your undergraduate scholarship, you can apply for the undergraduate scholarship to offset some of your living expenses. It's open to students in all fields. We don't have a specific German language requirement for it, but those who do have it, you're spending, think about, spending a semester living in Germany, you're going to need a little bit of language skills, and so that's always advantageous, and we highly encourage. The duration of the scholarship is 1 semester to 1 full academic year. I know a lot of you, the first question a lot of students ask is whether it's eligible for summer programs. No, that is unfortunate. Summer semesters, in Germany, what they call summer semesters is what we call here winter semester. So it takes place March through July, and that period, summer semester, we can support, but not summer months. We awarded approximately 60 last year. We're trying to keep the ratio at about 4 to 1. So if the program gets significantly more applicants, sometimes we can get more funding for it. So your chances are not bad at this. The undergraduate scholarship awards a monthly stipend, so you receive 650 euros per month, and the rate of the dollar, that's very much worth it. Also, you receive health insurance. I think that they might pay from your monthly stipend about €7 per month in order to supplement the health insurance, but it's full coverage health insurance that's required in Europe for you to study there. Plus there's a travel stipend. The travel stipend means that we give you a little bit of funding for reimbursement of your international plane flight. Things it doesn't cover are like tuition, etc., any other administrative costs. That €650 is meant to apply towards your living expenses, but you can, if there's leftover, by all means, it's your scholarship for you to do what you want with it. InternXchange is a fairly new program. This is a program that's specific to journalism students or journalism or related fields. For example, political science students can apply for InternXchange, German majors, history majors, current affairs, international affairs, students in law, any of those kinds of related fields where you have an interest in current affairs, number one, because you're going to be interning at a current media organization. And number two, the main requirement for the InternXchange program is a really decent amount of German language skills. Imagine you're going to be writing press releases and things like that. The stipend is €700 per month. It does take place during the summer months, and so you can't take that undergraduate scholarship to do the summer program, but this is one of the summer programs you can do. Why it's InternXchange is that you spend one portion of one portion of this program at the Freie Universität Berlin doing an intensive study program, and the other portion of the scholarship is spent doing an internship at a German media agency. It could be a newspaper, it could be one of the national news agencies, or it could be one of the private ones, one of the, those that aren't necessarily geared towards propaganda. The most important things about this is that there's a two-part application process that's a little bit different than on our other programs. In addition to all the paperwork and the application online, there's an interview portion, and the interview portion you do need to have a good knowledge of current affairs and also have fluent German language skills. A lot of the questions that I get are, how can I succeed? And what we want to see in the narrative portion of your scholarship application, and this applies to almost all of our applications, that there's this narrative portion. We want to know what it is that you propose to do, is to explain why you need to go to Germany. That's probably the single most important question to answer in your proposal narrative. The other things that we're looking at are quality letters of recommendation. Make sure that you have them from your professors, from your major, or from your subject field. Though that's a requirement, and it might not be necessarily stated as a requirement, but we really do look for that. If you have TAs that you've been working with, see if you can get a department head to co-sign that letter of recommendation. The other thing is that this is where when you apply for grants, and if you choose to do academia later on, you're going to find that you're going to be applying for a lot of grants, is that we look for professionalism, and so we want to see that it's on time, it's complete, it looks good, it looks professional. But the big thing that we don't want you to do is staples. No staples, please, whatsoever. No binding, no staples. We have to sort them, and we have to make copies for the reviewers, and it makes our work so much easier if you don't have staples. And also, for undergraduate students especially, utilize your on-campus resources. Go to your career office, go to your fellowships office, get advice on how to submit an application, get advice on how to write a proposal if you're not sure of what to do. Study abroad offices. A lot of the people in a study abroad offices have studied abroad, so you can get a lot of information that's not the formal information that we present online in a webinar or on our website, but things that are valuable subjectively. Okay, and visit us online. All of our information is online on our website, daad.org. If you find that these 3 programs aren't enough for you, my philosophy is always apply for as much funding as possible, and then if you get more than 1 scholarship, just you can choose. And this is my contact information. If I went through it too quickly, or if you have a question about any of the programs, I'm an information officer here, so I have a fairly broad knowledge of all of the DAD scholarships that are in the North America region, and just feel free to email me. There's my email address as well as Leslie's, Kim's, and Martina's. So thank you. Let me hand it over to Martina, I believe.
Thank you, Jane. And this is just a good time for me to mention as well that we are going to send out a copy of the PowerPoint presentations that you see today to all of you afterwards. So if there's anything you'd like to reference or share with colleagues, we will be sending this out in PDF format so that you can also get all of our contact information there as well as the information about our scholarships. So now we're going to head over to Martina, who is sitting at home in Bonn. Hi, Martina.
Hello, Leslie. Hello,
Great.
everyone. Hi. This is my first webinar, and I would like to give you some information about RISE and RISE Professional.
Can you show us your screen?
Can you? Yes.
There we go.
Like to, yeah. Here it is.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I have to. Okay. Okay, here
Super.
it is. We thought about it because we are in the last 2 weeks before application deadline, and so I give a brief overview over the 2 programs, over RISE and RISE Professional, and then I have some screenshots about the application process of those 2 internship programs, which are sister programs and which work very similar. They are both web-based programs, and that means everything is going through the online application database, so you do not have to send anything to DAD right now. Please do not mail anything. And whereas RISE matches undergraduate students from North American and British universities with PhD students for the internships, RISE Professional only matches North American students with companies. There are no British students for RISE Professional who are eligible to apply. International students can apply in both programs, but they have to be enrolled in a North American university. I will start with RISE, which is the success story of the RISE programs. It's the program for undergraduate students, research internships in science and engineering. The internships are 8 to 12 weeks in summer. It's web-based. The undergrads work directly with German doctoral students at top labs. German is not required, as English is the language in the labs. The scholarships are 650 euros per month, and the PhD, or almost every PhD student, assists in housing to find the housing. Last year we were able to place 304 interns, and this year we hope to place 300. Right now there are 687 research internships in our database, and you can see the fields of the studies: 249 engineering projects, 197 biology projects, 127 physics projects, 91 chemistry projects, so there are many choices. 300 scholarships will be awarded, and also 80 for up to 80 students, 2 weeks preparatory language course. The scholarships are between 8 and 12 weeks, so this 1,300 euros is for 8 weeks, for 10 weeks, 1,625 euros, and so on. DAD also provides the scholarship holders with health insurance and with accident and personal liability insurance. There will be a 3-day meeting in Heidelberg. We will perhaps hear about that. And there will be a lump sum for travel expenses within Germany of 150 euros. RISE Professional is mainly directly at graduate student and recent graduates, but also for undergraduate DAD alumni from North America. The North American students are matched with leading German companies. The internships are between 6 weeks and 6 months in the summer. The start will be not earlier than May. And the scholarships are funded through DAD and participating companies. The students or the scholarships, the stipends are paid on a monthly basis. Bachelor students will have 650 euros, 750 euros are paid for recent graduates and master students, and PhD students will get a scholarship of 1,000 euros. The companies always pay 500 euros of that amount. For travel expenses, the scholarship holder will get 800 euros as a lump sum. Also, there will be this health insurance, accident and personal liability insurance. For RISE Professional, knowledge of German is, it differs. Some of the companies want to have fluent German, others do not need any German knowledge. So you really have to look closely on the internship offer. All RISE Professional participants meet in Bonn for the scholarship meeting. Last year, RISE Professional participants have, for example, interned at BSF. Those were the following companies are the top 5 companies in our program: BSF with 6 interns, Bayer with 7, Evonik, Degussa with 4, Henkel with 5, and Schott with 7. You can read more in the reports of the interns on our website. This year we have 182 research internships from 72 companies in the database. More than half of those internship offers are in the field of engineering. 40 are in our chemistry projects, 12 are biology projects, and 6 physics projects, and there are also 13 business administration projects. So now, if this is the short overview over the programs, and I would like to give now some information about the application process and about applying through the database and so on. So if you're interested in RISE or RISE Professional, please go to the website and go through the RISE programs website. There you will find RISE for undergraduate students, RISE Professional for graduate students. So you go to the program you are interested in to find out more about the internship positions that are offered. On the website, this slide shows a short overview over the application process, which you can look at later when you read the presentation again, perhaps. First, you register and log in. You check the database, you fill in the application form, you save it, create a link for a professor, upload the application documents, and save and submit the application. Only then DAD will receive your application. If you have any questions, please contact us at rise@dad.de or risepro@ dad.de. The deadline is January 31st. The deadline for the letters of reference is February 4th. Now I have some screenshots because the emails of students have shown that there might be, or that there are actually problems with that. Our internship database, you can register on the website by clicking on please register here. You register with your email address and a password, and then email will be sent to your email address, which you have to confirm to finalize the login process. Some of the universities have problems with the emails because the browsers do not allow our DAD, or automatically generated emails, so they do not receive the emails. In that case, you will have to contact us, write an email, so that we can finalize the login process. Okay. When we all are ready, if you have confirmed the email, or if we have finalized the process for you, you can log into the database, and then you are on the application page, and there you first have to search for interesting offers. That means you have to check the internship offers database and memorize all the interesting internship offers before you start with the online application. You will find the internship offers through this link, list offers. When you click there, this picture or this page will appear. You are on the database of the internship offers right now. You can search in the database. RISE has 687, so you do not want to check everything single of those offers. So you search for subject areas or fields of specialization and so on. If you have found those that you might be interested in, you can click on Show Details, which is next to the internship offer. You have to click that and open the offer. There you will find all the details of the internship offer. You can go down, read everything, find keywords, find the specialization, the address. You can contact the intern, the PhD student. If you have any questions, you find the special requirements. You find the knowledge of German that is mandatory. In RISE, it is not mandatory. In RISE Professional, that's different. There you will find that you might need a good knowledge. Okay, and if you think that this, for example, is an offer which you would like to apply to, you have to memorize this offer, and that's at the end of the offer form. That's very important. That were many of the questions of the emails which we got. So after memorizing all those interesting internship offers, you can start your application. You can fill out the application form and also find the memorized internship offers. The choices of the internships also give a preference. So if you have choice of internship number 1, this will be the internship offer you're most interested in. You fill in all the fields with red spots. You please save the application form, and as soon as you've saved it, you will find on the application website a field which says letter of reference, and that's the place where you can create a link for your professor. You have to fill in the name of your professor here, you have to add it, and within a few seconds the link will show up. Please copy the link completely and email it to your professor. Please do not test it or use it yourself, because afterwards you cannot use it again. You can only send or submit one single letter of reference, so it's only possible to create one link. After the saving of the application form and creating the link, you have to upload all the necessary documents for the application. That is, you need one general cover letter which addresses very general to all the internship offers you plan to apply for. So if you plan to apply for 3 internship offers, you have to write it very general. You need a full curriculum vitae or resume, a list of subjects studied by the time the internship begins. You have to upload an official university transcript. We will not accept unofficial university transcripts because they are not official enough. The RISE professional applicants have to, if they are graduate students, PhD students, or master students, they will find a field where they also can upload an official university transcript for their graduate studies. The RISE Pro applicants also will find a field where they can upload a letter of reference of a past employer, but this is not a mandatory document. And then the last document, and a very important document, which we also will check very carefully, is a completed and officially signed and stamped certificate of enrollment form. Important for us is that it shows the prospective date of graduation. This is especially important for all the international students who apply in RISE Professional, because they can only apply if they are enrolled in university also after the time of the internship. And this is very crucial for the visa and for the work permit waiver and everything else. So if you have uploaded everything, a field will show up, submit application, and with submitting the application, you send your application to DAD, and your part is done, and you have to wait for the results. The matching process is planned as follows. After January 1st and after February 4th, that's the date until which the letter of reference can be uploaded. After that, DAD approves the application. That means we check it, whether the documents are valid, whether they are official, and whether the letter of reference, for example, that's also important. The letter of reference has to be an official document with an official letterhead and officially signed and so on. Otherwise, we will not accept it and send it back to the professor. So if you plan to apply, please tell your professor to make it official. Companies, as soon as DAD has approved the application, the companies and the PhD students receive the approved applications, can look through it, check it, and rank it. they rank all the applications they get, and they rank, the deadline for their ranking is February 21st. After that, DAD matches the students with the PhD students or with the companies, and we hope to be able to send the first net notifications at the beginning of March. And of course we know that international students will have to apply for a visa and so on, so we will notify them in the first place. So I really hope that I could give you some information and some hints for the application, and I'm waiting for your questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Martina. And I actually have one question quickly that a few people asked us already with regards to the transcripts. Official transcripts for a lot of students are only submitted in paper form, so how do they upload that to the RISE application?
They have to scan it. I mean, many of the registrars give them in sealed envelopes. Please open the sealed envelopes and scan it. Simply scan it as a PDF file and upload it.
Great. And then a similar question has come in for the letters of recommendation. So the just to confirm, the professors that are writing the letter of recommendation for RISE write it on their official letterhead and submit it on their own.
Yes. Correct. And they have, I mean, they receive the link and they register also on our database, and they upload and submit the letter of reference also on our database through this link.
Great. Okay.
And oh,
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There are some universities who do not give the transcripts directly to the students. They only send it to organizations and universities. That is the case in with some few universities. With those universities, we allow an unofficial transcript, but we need to have the official paper transcript by February 4th. So you can submit your application because you have uploaded an unofficial transcript, but if you don't, if we, that means Bonn office, does not have the official paper copy of the transcript, of the official transcript, we will not approve of the application.
Okay, great. And there's a lot more questions coming in, but we will address those once Kim has spoken. So I'm going to put you on mute now for a second, Martina, allow you to take something to drink after that great presentation, and then we'll move on to Kim. So thanks, Martina.
You're welcome.
Hi, Kim. Are you there?
Yeah, hi, everyone. I'm here. So my name is Kim Barnum. I'm a RISE 2009 alum, and I'm a current Young Ambassador. I'm a senior at Fordham University in the Bronx, and my main reasons for applying to RISE, first of all, I wanted to do a study abroad program, but I'm a pre-medical student, and I didn't have the chance to go abroad during the school year, so I was looking for an international summer program that I'd be able to do. And also I wanted to try to engage in some research, and prior to doing RISE I had no research experience. So RISE was the perfect opportunity for me to go abroad during the summer and conduct research. And I think it's important for everyone to know that I don't speak German, and I didn't have any problems while I was in Germany because everyone spoke very good English, and that was important to me because I was really scared at first, not knowing if I'd be able to communicate, but I had no problem. So for all of you who don't speak German, don't worry. And so while I was there, I studied ecology at Universität Bayreuth in Bayreuth, Germany. And I worked in the university's botanical gardens. And one cool thing was that while I was there, I had a bike. My PhD student actually got a bike for me, so I was able to ride around and get around the town quite easily. For the hours that I worked, they're pretty basic hours. I worked Monday to Friday, 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock. But once I got out around 4 o'clock, I had a lot of free time, so I would go swimming. There was a swim club right next door to where I lived, and it was very cheap, and I went swimming quite a bit. I played soccer. I went out to different dance clubs around the town. My living situation, I lived in a dorm on the college campus, and I had my own room with a bathroom, and I shared a kitchen with 4 other girls. One of the best experiences that I had in Germany was meeting other international students. I made friends from Italy, England, Ireland, Germany, China, Japan, so many other countries. And on weekends I had the opportunity to travel, and I visited a whole bunch of German cities like Berlin, Munich, Ulm, Stuttgart, and I also had a chance to see France and Czech Republic. And getting around, I used the Deutsche Bahn train system. It was a very easy and convenient way to travel. The tickets aren't too expensive, and it's just a great means of transportation. So I was there in Germany for 2 months, for June and July. I came back August 1st, and I still had 1 month of summer left before I had to go back to school. And overall, my RISE experience was the best experience of my life, namely because not only did I get to do great research, but I made long-lasting friendships. And I just wanted to say also that I'm glad I had the chance to go abroad when I did, because I'll be starting med school in the fall, and I don't think I'll have that much time to travel after that. And I have some pictures, Leslie, if you could switch my screen.
Great. Here you go.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Not quite yet.
Okay.
You have to click on yes or accept.
Okay.
There we go. Thanks.
Okay. Good. So everyone can see?
Yep, looks
Okay.
good.
Okay, so this is a map of Germany, and Bayreuth in bold is where I stayed. It's in Bavaria, which is one of my favorite regions in Germany. The next picture, this is a picture of Bayreuth. It is a beautiful town, and it's famous for the opera house of Wagner. And let's see, this is another picture from Bayreuth with one of the opera houses in the background, and just a beautiful town, great town to live in. It was quite a small town, but I personally liked living in a small town, and it made it less expensive, much more easy to live. This is a picture of the field I worked in at Universität Bayreuth in the botanical gardens. It was our experimental site, and in the background you could see our tents, which we had plants in, and those were the plants that we worked with. So I basically spent every day of my internship outside, which was really awesome. This is a picture of me, and in the background are the baby pine trees that I worked with, and we had 12 tents of these, so we ended up having around 500 of these little plants. And so I watered and collected data, and that was what I spent a lot of my research time doing. And this is a picture of me with my colleagues. From left to right, on the left is Diana. She was another intern from Kazakhstan. Next to her in the yellow is Inez. She was another intern from Spain. Then in the black and orange is me. And to the right of me in the pink is Laura, who was a fellow PhD student at Universität Bayreuth. And in the background, the guy in the white shirt and black sunglasses was my PhD student, Daniel. And the guy in the black shirt was another guy in my work group named Christian. And my group had about 12 people in it, and it was really awesome because I was never working alone. I was always around really funny and really great people. And I didn't speak German, like I said, so they were all very good about speaking English when I was around. This is the swimming pool that I told you about earlier. This was, it's called Kreuzsteinbad, and it was literally right next door to my dorm complex. And it was about €1 to get in. It was a lot of fun to go there with my friends. This is a picture of my soccer team. When I was living in the dorms, I met a whole bunch of other international students that were there, and we played on a soccer team together. And one great thing was that we called this our international team because everyone on the team was basically from a different country. Just in this picture alone, there were people from Czech Republic, Poland, Germany, Spain, England, Ireland, Kenya, Italy, and you can see me, I'm the only girl. I was the only American in that picture. So we had a great time. And this is a picture actually of another soccer team I played on with some of my colleagues. These are all ecology students and PhD students, and we took a day trip to the town of Regensburg to play in a soccer tournament on 4th of July. So we had a great time there too. And in this picture also, this is my sister April. I'm a twin, and she also did RISE. She was on a chemistry internship. So it was really great that my sister and I were able to be in Germany together. And this is a typical picture of what you see a lot in Germany. There's always a lot of barbecues and partying, and it's just awesome. You meet so many people, and you get introduced to such delicious food. And of course, my pictures wouldn't be complete without something like this, of a beer garden with all the beer, and these are some of my friends. Daniel was American, Johanna was from Finland, and David was also from Finland. And that's it. So that's it for my presentation. Thanks for listening to what I had to say, and again, I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Great. Thanks so much, Kim. And now I think we are going to move to the Q&A session, and there are a lot of questions that came in. I'm going to unmute Jane and Martina right now, just so you're ready to answer some questions. So I apologize in advance if we can't get to all the questions. If we don't get to yours, feel free to email us afterwards, and we'd be more than happy to answer them. So I'm going to ask Jane, Martina, and Kim, if you do get asked a question, please try to be as succinct as possible, because there are a lot of them. So the first question that we've had a few times is people are confused. There's 650 internship positions, but only 300 scholarships offered. Why is that? Martina?
That's simply because of finances. We have a special amount of money which we can spend for the scholarships, and that's it. So if you are ranked on top of the PhD students list and you cannot receive a scholarship, maybe we can find another possibility through university or anything like that. But right now there are 300 scholarships possible from the money DAD has.
Great, thank you. And this question for Jane for the undergraduate scholarship, and then for Martina for RISE and RISE Pro. What is the ratio of how many students apply as to how many students get a scholarship? So Jane, if you'd like to go first.
Okay, for the undergraduate scholarship, we try to keep it at about 4 to 1. Sometimes it can go down to 3 to 1. So about 30% of the applicants will be awarded. For the undergraduate, internXchange, it fluctuates a little bit. I think it's a little bit higher. We're going to target interviewing 40 applicants, and we'll choose 15 of them for the scholarship and internship program.
Great. And Martina, what about for RISE?
In RISE, I think we had last year 1,200 applications from students and 304, so that's almost 1 to 4. And in RISE Professional, the ratio is a little worse, because the matching process is a lot more difficult than in RISE, and there is a lot more movement in the whole process. Last year we had economic problems in the companies, so some of the companies took back their offers, and so it came to less, to 1 to 5 or so.
Great, thank you. The next question is, how long should cover letters be? Is there a recommended maximum length for the RISE cover letters?
I wouldn't write too many pages, like 1 page or 1.5. That's the most.
Great, Thank you. There's been a few questions about undergraduate students who have graduated already and they want to apply for RISE Professional.
Yes.
Do they need to submit a certificate of enrollment? If they already graduated, they're not enrolled anywhere.
No, no. You only need a certificate of enrollment if you're enrolled in a program. That means if you continue your program after the internship, you will need a certificate of enrollment. But if you are a recent graduate, you can only apply if you have the North American citizenship. That's another point in RISE Professional because of the regulations.
So just to clarify that, for undergraduate students, you can have any citizenship and still apply as long as you're a matriculated student. But for RISE Professional, if you're no longer a student, you have to have North American citizenship. So that's a little nuance there to be aware of.
Yes. That's
So there's a question about airfare to and from Germany. So Jane, actually you know the answer for this for all of them. So if you just want to answer, what is covered for airfare for the 3 scholarships?
Okay, for the 3 scholarship programs in the undergraduate scholarship as well as the RISE scholarship, you will be getting some kind of reimbursement. It's a lump sum. The average that we've been giving is about $500 for the long-term scholarship. So I don't have an exact amount on that yet for the undergraduate scholarship, but there will be something. There will be some kind of reimbursement for the RISE programs, both the RISE and RISE Pro. For the internXchange, that is one of our only programs where we don't have a travel reimbursement. So unfortunately, you will have to find the funding for the international airfare yourself.
Okay.
in
Great.
RISE Pro, you will have 800 euros.
Okay, that's good.
There's been a few questions about graduate students who are applying. Do they have to submit undergraduate transcripts for RISE Pro?
Yes.
Okay, so and what about if an undergraduate student has been at 2 different universities? Then do they have to submit both transcripts from all universities attended or just the most recent?
Well, if you have access to both transcripts, it's always better to have a full documentation of your career. So I would try to have it all and then scan it together in one PDF file.
Okay. So it looks like there's a few people that are confused about how many projects you can apply to. So I'll just say really briefly, for RISE and for RISE Pro, you can apply for up to 3 projects.
Yes.
You can, if there's only one you're interested in, then you can just apply to 1 or up to 3. And you can't not apply to more than 3. So between 1 and 3. And
Yes.
just choose whichever are of interest to you. We have a few questions about RISE professional students after they finish their internship. Do many of them get job offers from the companies they work for? Do they return to the U.S.? Do they go on to study in Germany? Do you have any sort of overview of the profile of students?
I've heard of some. I think we have at least 5 who have a steady job in Germany afterwards and who are still in Germany and work here. There are also quite a few who continued with graduate studies. They did their RISE professional scholarships as recent graduates, and then they applied for programs, international programs at German universities or other European universities. There are also quite a few. And we also asked the students how important or how much the RISE professional internship helped them with finding a job in the United States. And quite a few said that in their interview for the jobs in the United States, the RISE professional internship always was a big part of the interview. So that's also interesting.
The next question, how flexible are the companies with regards to RISE Pro and the PhD students for RISE about the duration and start dates of internships? Are those set in stone, or can you negotiate with the employer or with the company or the PhD student?
I think the internships of the PhD students in RISE are set in stones. That's a fixed date, and you will not be able to change that. With the companies, you have to find a date for the internship. That means the starting dates in the internship offer forms are not set in stones, and also the duration, although most of the companies would like to have someone for at least 3 months.
The next question is with regards to letters of recommendation. They need to be in English for the undergraduate scholarship and the internXchange. For RISE or RISE Professional, Martina, we have one question specifically that says the professor will only write the letter of recommendation in German because their English isn't very good. Is that okay?
Well, if the letter of recommendation is in German, that's perfect. Sure.
Okay, for RISE and RISE Professional, but that doesn't work for the undergraduate scholarship and internXchange. So that's just something to note. This question is for Jane. The question is, at what university in Germany do the students who receive the undergraduate scholarships attend? So maybe you could just talk briefly about the difference between matriculating on your own and students that you do the study abroad at their school.
Okay, basically for the undergraduate scholarship, you can matriculate at any one of the universities in Germany. So all 370-something of the universities are possible destinations under the undergraduate scholarship. The difference between I think where a lot of people, the students and the applicants are confused by is that the undergraduate scholarship is a scholarship program. So you need to matriculate at the universities yourself on your own if you want to do it independently, you can. You apply as a non-degree foreign student at the German university. The deadlines for those, they usually happen twice a year, January 15 and July 15. January 15 for the summer semester, which begins in March, and July 15 for the winter semester, which begins in October. They're sometimes a little bit earlier for international students, so try to make contact with the university as soon as possible if you're going to go independent. And if you're going to join a study abroad program, such as the Wayne State University Junior Year Abroad or any one of the other universities that offer programs, or perhaps your own school has a study abroad program to Germany, those are all legitimate. They're any one of those programs as long as you're geographically located in Germany. Does that answer the question, do you think?
Yeah, I think it does. Thanks, Jane.
Okay.
The next question, there's been a few questions actually about the cover letter for RISE. People in RISE Professional, it's a little, I guess, counterintuitive from what we generally do to write one general cover letter to cover 3 internships, up to 3 internships. So there's one specific question on, do you address each company or each PhD internship's name in the cover letter, or do you just write a general cover letter without listing the internships that you're applying for?
Yes, I would just write a general cover letter and address it to a very general person, like dear sir, dear madam, dear PhD student, or to whom I
may concern.
Yeah, to whom it is. Thank you. And I also would write the rest very, very general, but also stress the abilities and special qualifications and so on. And also the cover letter, if you know German, I mean, that's what some of the applicants did in the last years also. They wrote the cover letter in German just to show how good their German is. But that can be tricky, because if the German is not that good, it might make not a 100% good impression. But it shows then that you know German.
But knowing German or not knowing German doesn't affect. It's not like if you know German, you're more likely to get the internship. Correct?
No, I don't think so, because I talked to the companies about that, and they said the first and most important thing is the qualification in the field of study, and also the experience that the applicant has. So if the company is looking for someone who knows a special program or anything like that, this is the most important thing they look for. And the German language knowledge is not that important. So even if they are looking for someone with good German knowledge, but do you think that the internship, the offer is perfect for your abilities and qualifications and so on, don't be disturbed by the German knowledge field.
And there you're speaking about RISE Professional.
Yes, that's RISE Professional. RISE is the German knowledge. I mean, English is the language in the labs. That's a general thing.
This is a general question for all of them, so Jane, maybe you'd like to start. Is there any specific curriculum vitae or resume format that students should follow when they're applying for any scholarships with DAD?
For Germany, you might find that you'll have to do this multiple times. The preferred format is the curriculum vitae, where the most significant difference between a curriculum vitae and the resume is the chronological versus the reverse chronological, and the inclusion of your complete academic background, your complete educational background in a CV. So the CV is the most common in Germany, where the information is given chronologically. You include your high school information as well as your university information, and the resume is the sort of standard in the U.S. and it's been pretty we've been pretty alternative. We take both of them on most of our programs. So I think that the undergraduate scholarship specifies that they want a resume, but you can for the internship exchange and for undergraduate scholarship, I think you can go for either one, the CV or the resume.
Okay. This is a question for Martina and also for Jane, actually. With regards to letters of recommendation, do they have to be from a professor in the student's major, or can they be from a professor outside of the student's major?
I'll go first because this is a question that I get a lot, and each program of each scholarship program handles it a little bit differently. For the undergraduate scholarship, and as a general rule for a lot of the DAD scholarships, if it requires 2 letters of recommendation, always have at least one that's from your professor, a professor in your major who is your academic advisor, or the department head of the department where your major of your major. And for the study scholarship, I think that for the undergraduate scholarship, I think we're slightly more flexible about your second letter of recommendation. If you're having a TA write it, always have a department head or professor sign off on it. You want to have somebody in that authoritative position at least be the co-signer on your letter of recommendation. I wouldn't have a student or a TA student or a peer write a letter of recommendation. An employer, if that job is relevant to what it is that you propose to do in Germany, I think that that's okay for the undergraduate scholarship. And for intern exchange, it works about the same way. 2 letters of recommendation from professors in your major field is the requirement. And so if you have for that one specifically, we're looking for journalism students or communication students, a faculty advisor on a student newspaper, or a faculty advisor on a relevant project in a project that's relevant to the field is also acceptable for the intern exchange letter of recommendation. And the RISE, Martina, do you have anything to say about that?
In RISE, you have to have the letter of recommendation from a senior professor in your major field of studies, and it has to be a professor from the university you are right now. And some of the students ask about whether the referee has to have the degree of a professor. That has not to be, but he has, or he or she has to hold a PhD degree. And in RISE Professional, it's about the same.
Great.
Whereas we are not that strict in RISE Professional. I mean, we want to have the referee of a major, but if you have changed or if you are a master's student in the first year and you do not have so many contacts and you know someone from the undergraduate school, a professor, we will accept that too.
Great. And I think we're a few minutes past time here, so I'll just finish up with, I think, 2 more questions. We've had a bunch of questions, as we always get, on GPA. So people say the average GPA is listed as 3.5. Does that mean you have to have a 3.5? If you have over a 3.5, does that mean you have a greater chance of getting the scholarship? Martina, if you could speak just briefly to GPA.
In RISE, GPA is surely one of major considerations for getting a scholarship. In RISE Professional, I think it doesn't matter too much. The qualifications and experiences are more important than the GPA for the companies.
Okay, great. Sorting through a bunch here, I think, yeah, there's a few questions on the RISE website. Says that PhD students might contact the students to discuss the application. Does this generally happen? When would students be contacted? Can they expect to be contacted by a PhD student?
It's totally different. Some of the PhD students will contact the applicants and some will not. And also you as an applicant can contact the PhD student and ask questions and try to seek contact. That's no problem. For RISE Professional, it is a little different. RISE Professional, you should be more, you can contact the companies and that's perfect, but it could be also seen as a disruption. So you have to find your own way. But companies, some of the companies will contact the applicants. It's different. It's different from case to case.
Okay, great. Oh, and we actually had, before we close here, Kim, you wanted to speak up and say something? Oh, sorry, Kim, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you'd said you wanted to mention something about your start date, your RISE.
Yeah, I just wanted to say my PhD student was really flexible with the timing of my internship. I set it so that I would be there June and July. I think originally it had been set from like May to August, but my PhD student was really good about letting me be flexible.
Okay, great. That's good to hear. So maybe the lesson learned there, if the dates don't quite work for you in the application, there's still a chance that the student could be flexible.
Yeah, you have to ask about that.
Great. And now I'm going to, even though we still have some questions, I'm going to close the webinar for now, and you'll see on the screen that there are some email addresses. If you have a question about RISE or RISE Pro, you can contact them, rise@dad.de or rise-pro@dad.de. You can also email Jane or myself. Our email addresses are up there as well, foo@dad.org and dadsf@dad.org for any general questions that you have. So I apologize for those questions that we were not able to get to today. There were a lot of good ones. So thank you, all of you, for your participation, your interest in Germany, interest in DAD funding. And yeah, thank you for taking time out of your Thursday to be with us. Anything, Jane, Kim, Martina, that you'd like to say before we close?
No, thank you for joining us, and I look forward to communicating with you more and most of all getting your good scholarship applications.
Yes, and also we are glad to be here to be able to present the programs, and we hope for lots of applications.
Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you in Deutschland.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.